some persons like. Ah! Leave Uncle alone. Uncle, come and just stand here. Hallelujah. Please, can we come together? We are still waiting for some of us. Bring your tea down. Come and finish the tea here. So that we'll move to the next program. Please. Quickly. All right. To the point of your discussion, you get to the point that you are led to exchange numbers to talk more on any of the issues you raise. Please feel free. Hello? You get to the point. So myself and my friend, we got to the point that, okay, I told him, he said something that, okay, I said, I have a remedy to that. Look at what I do. And said, okay, can we exchange numbers so that I can continue from there? We are friends. We are friends now. So that is that. And mommy have said so many things that there is no need for any other talk. God bless you. Put your hands together for Jesus. Hallelujah.
Praise the Lord. Please, are we enjoying ourselves in God's presence? Please take your tea. Take your tea. Take your tea. Take your tea, oh. Dami, take your tea. You're done with it. All right. Thank you. Please, if you have any questions for mommy, please you can signify. Any question for her? You have any question? Enjoy your tea. Question, no. If you don't have... Okay. I will direct the questions. So, thank you, sir. Questions as we're waiting for question. All right. Daddy, want to ask you a question, sir. The question we want to ask you, sir, is that we know mommy is a professor. She's a professor. The question we want to ask is that how has it been? How has it been like the family? And because the reason why we're asking this question is so that some of us here, once there is something else, we find out that in one area they are not doing well, in another area they are doing well. So how to maintain balance with every other thing we are doing with academics? We'd love to hear a little from you, Daddy.
Praise the Lord. Now let me see if I got the question right. How do we combine many things together? The family life, Christian life, and academics, or academic calling. Now, the most important foundation is you have the privilege to be a child of God. If you are not born again, you have not even started. That is number one key point. Number two is who becomes your partner or who is your partner. There are some partners that when you are trying to run very fast, God forbid, if you have chosen wrongly, they will be slowing you down. I know of one of our sisters that graduated with first class and married somebody who graduated with third class. And several times when the first class sister wanted to move, the brother was not seeing it that way. The first class sister was working, the brother was not working. At a time, the family said the wife was becoming too proud because the husband has not got a job. Now, I have another fellow who graduated with second class lower, and the brother is a third class graduate. But this other one, third class graduate, was doing everything to support the second class lower wife. Today, the brother is a director in the ministry and the wife is a professor. So, it is not all times that what will determine your progress is the class you graduate with, but I'm not canvassing for you to graduate with third class. But suppose you had a problem in the way, and instead of making first class, you graduated with second class upper, and you are now thinking, what do I need to do to be able to move forward? If you have not made a choice of who to marry, that is cardinal to the extent to which you can go and how far you can stay in high altitude. That's number 2. Number 3, now, if you are in marriage as Christians and you have a calling to academics, academics is a place where there are several challenges. And the third point will be you have to determine or to design a idea. If you feel you are a lecturer because it's an opportunity to make money, you might fail not being able to make money and again disappoint God. In some other climes, if the system is very, very careless, you may be able to make money, but again you will disappoint God. So the third point is see your calling as an academic as a calling from God, as if God has called you like he has called pastors. So that you are conscious of the fact that my life is meant to influence others and I must not be exploitative. I must be accessible so that I can actually influence them. Number 4, if your partner is in academics, like my own case, I'm an academic, my wife is an academic, then the two of you must be willing to endure and sacrifice. If you are not willing to endure, you are not willing to sacrifice, it's either the two of you will not be able to rise, or one will be rising, the other one will be at the same spot. The principle will be as one is rising, then is lifting the hand of the other one. I know of a professor whose wife became a professor before him. The wife became a professor before the husband. But while the wife was away in an assignment, the husband was on ground in the university. The husband was running after the paper of the woman, and the woman became a professor before him. But when God was going to compensate the man became a vice chancellor when he became a professor. So the mentality will be, we are not called together to be competitors, but to complement each other. And so whatever I can do for his rising or for our rising, I will be willing to do it. And finally, when you are doing this, don't forget that you are children of God and you need to support everything you do with prayers. Pray for your sustenance, pray for the ability to discharge what God has called you to discharge and to discharge your duty to satisfaction of God. And when you are doing that as well, if you are blessed with children at home, you will not want to jeopardize the chances of your children's rise because you are running after the welfare or well-being or the success of others. So you have commitment to your biological children as well as you have commitment to your professional children. So these are some of the things that will be of help to you. Thank you very much.
I'll put it together for Hadley. Mommy, I want to ask you one question, ma. The question is that, Mommy, have you failed before? And if you have failed before, how did you, right? How did you manage it to come back, ma?
Thank you so much. That's a good question. When I said I did not want to study engineering, it was because I failed physics. I had 8 in physics. That was the first attempt. And actually, I did not register for YA. I had to do GC the same year, and I'm physics then. What happened was when I used to have friends that we did read together then. So I had one that studied medicine, but the father is very good. It was the one taking us tutorial, we organized tutorial for the students. So when I had challenge with physics, I had to collect all past questions and sit down with it. I was reading, I did not mind that the lady was my friend. So many times I would say, ask her, please teach me this particular subject. I went all way for that physics, and I said, this physics this time around, I must pass. And I actually passed it. You know, when we have issues with any subject, so because of that experience, when I got to Lautech, where to do engineering mathematics, in 200 level, I said, God, what again? But what was I doing? I made library my friend. Then we had like 3 textbooks for for engineering mathematics, KA Stroud. But you will not believe it, there were a lot of failure during that time. But in the course of it, I had A. They were even looking for me all around that. Who is that small girl that had A in engineering mathematics? I had lots of senior friends, BSF. So one was from my home church. I'm from Ogbomoso. So that person, immediately we finish like this, I will go. But I have to sound a note of caution for ladies. Please, when you are asking for opposite sex to take you tutorial, you have to be cautioned. Do you understand? Know the person. The reason why I'm saying this is because I've seen somebody doing tutorial, from tutorial to pregnancy. So we need to balance it. But then he was taking me, but I did not relent. I will also do all the courses. I think it was Oiji doctor that was taking us then. So then we will read, we will still form tutorial groups. And that actually led me to having A. I never thought, in fact, I didn't expect it, but I knew I wasn't playing. And at the same time, I was praying. So God actually helped me. So when you fail or you had challenge with any course, one, don't keep quiet. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't feel sorry that people will be making mockery of you. No, that's not the end of life. The next thing is just for you to sit and look at where you are falling, analyze it, and see how you can rise and become better version. By the grace of God, throughout my undergraduate, I did not fail any course. Just by God's, and I graduated best student in my science department. So that is it. And let me quickly say this regarding the issue of professor. Please, I said deep course on. We did not start like as professors. Do you understand? I was telling my partner, how much was I collecting? I told her 10,000 naira when we first were doing teaching assistants. So it was from nothing to something now. So the beginning might be small. The Bible says your latter end shall great. So don't look down on this your beginning. Do you understand? So I started as a CA. My husband started as GA. So we rose through Akabubu class in rank. AL, lecturer 2, lecturer 1, senior lecturer, readership, then professor by the mercies of God. So what am I trying to say is that sometimes let's just be steady, be focused, and keep moving. One day, it will yield fruit for us.
Thank you, ma. This last question goes to Pastor Mrs. Adejoke Adegoke. I know I didn't inform her before. The question is that, what would you advise somebody that is doing well in his academics and somebody that is not doing well? So it's possible that we have people that are doing well already, and it's possible that we have people that they are on average. What will you be your advice for the two set of people?
For the person that is doing well, I think all of the things that we have heard today still applies to you, whether you are doing well. Pastor has said that we should put God first. Let God build it with our labor. Yes, Mommy has said, let's be focused, let's have drive. Because you are doing well now, it's cumulative, right? What you have been doing each semester, it will add up. So because you are 4.8 now, doesn't mean that you end with 4.8. Of course, and the higher you go, the tougher it is. It's more difficult to get A in the 431 or 4 whatever. I didn't have a CGPA, so I don't know how the burden is. I just have to read and pass, and you have to pass everything, whether it's 1 unit or 5 units. So it was terrible. You can repeat a whole year because of 1 unit. So it will be also good for you to put yourself on the same, for a person that is doing well, to put yourself that whether 1 unit or 5 units, I'm a person of excellence. I carry excellence in me, so I have to keep doing. And she said no competition with other people. Of course, when you're already in the top of the class, there's nobody to be competing with. You may want to relent, but you keep competing with yourself. For every day, you want to be a better version of yourself, okay? So competition is not the drive, envy is not the drive, but for you to see that God has given me this thing in me. I used to tell myself that, Joke, you are not dull. You can't settle for this. And that was my own drive throughout. I tell myself, I'm not tired until I'm done when I'm reading. Until I'm done, that's when I'm done. But I'm tired, I want to go and say, no. I don't give myself an excuse. So that's for somebody that is doing well. For you that you think that you are not doing well, I'll give an example of my husband's case. I won't give myself, because throughout my secondary school, teachers have always hailed me, I'm a best student, medicine, so, sorry. So for someone like my husband, I said, all of his secondary school, they're just average students. And then he just assumed that he's an average student. So when he got to part 1, he was just, and part 1 is different from secondary school. It's a shock difference. There's nobody, there's no classmates like that. There's no kilo test. There's nothing like that. So he was just doing everything, and he just had C all over in his first semester. And CGPA came out, like, what is CGPA? And someone had to call him and put him down and say that you are building your life. I've told somebody here before that what you take, whether you like your course or not, what you take out of your first degree stays with you for the rest of your life. So it starts with a mental shift, okay? That you're not doing well now doesn't mean that that's the end of you. You are a child of God. God invested everything that He invested in that person that is acing everything. The same thing in you. It starts with a mental shift that I can do this thing. Some of us is laziness that is causing us to achieve the maximum potential that God has put in us. It's not, I can say that I have ADHD. When I'm reading something, I'm thinking about 2 or 3 other things. But I have to constantly, I know that if I don't read something 3 times, I don't get it. And I'm still one of the best students in my class. I didn't let that stop me. I know myself. Look at yourself. Do you need to play very well before you read? It's okay. By the time your brain is telling you to grab that phone, tell your brain that I've played. I've satisfied that part. I also have a friend. She's a medical student. She will come to the room. She will watch film. She will sleep. She will eat before she goes to night class. By the time her brain is wanting, you need to rest. No, I've done all of that. So be intentional about how you manage your time. Understand yourself. If you need to sit first in class so that you will hear everything, sit. And with the help of God, you can come up. That you started CCCC and your CGPA is looking like 1 point something, doesn't mean that you will not pick up. It may have damaged something, yes, we know, but you can still rise through the rank, and then God will help you. And be prayerful. Look for support. Look for help. Don't keep quiet. Don't just take it that this is me. You can be better with the help of God.
All right. Thank you, ma. Please, can we put this together for her? All right. This last question goes to Dr. Adefenwa, and the question is that, how do you manage sleep and study together? Because the thing is, sometimes we want to study. One thing I've noticed about our brain is that when you switch to entertainment, it's easier. You can even spend hours on it. But if you carry your Bible or you carry your phone to start reading, it's just a direct sleep. So how do you manage the two with the present position where you find yourself? Because I know that it has to be an hard work, smart work, and all of every work together, being diligent to be where you are today. Please, what would you say to us on that aspect? How do we manage all of these things together? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Sleep
reading, walking. Well, I want to say this, that you must first understand your nature. I want to cite this example. I did my master's at FUNAB, Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. There is this bunkmate of mine. He tried to copy my method of reading and sleeping. He's from Niger State. He's staying, he's a bunk. One day he called me. When I'm reading, I assimilate easily when I'm lying on my bed. Yeah. And that's why I said we need to understand ourselves. And then this Nokia 33, I'll put it on my forehead while lying down. So it will be as if I'm hunting. And I'll bring out my book around 2 a.m. till 5 a.m. on my bed. And the first time he tried it, he discovered that the book was just enjoying itself on his chest till around 7 a.m. The second time, he tried it. The third time, he tried it. He now called me. And he said, do you used to take something while reading? I said, no. And, there's this another brother from Epoma. He's reading, he's an agronomist. He's a lecturer. But we were all doing masters together. I did not know that, and he graduated with a first class. He also wanted to copy my method, but he discovered that it did not work for him. To me, if I sit too much, I will doze. And sometimes even Kende can testify to that. If I want to walk, I walk on my bed. I don't know how God has wired my own system, but I understand that. Please don't try my method, though. You may eventually sleep off till they finish exam. Please don't copy my method. And when I'm doing anything that has to do with calculation, my own thing is abstract. I enjoy doing calculation where there is noise. Where there is noise. I do tell people, let them continue to make noise. So far it is calculation, I will enjoy it. And it's as if my brain is, but if it's a place that is quiet, I will be struggling. So I want to say this, that God has wired our system differently. What works for A might not work for B. Know yourself. I've told some students here in church that because everybody is going for a night class doesn't mean the night class is meant for you. There was this guy, I entered through pre-degree, Shegun. Shegun will never come to class. And throughout the PD days, Shegun has a 60 leaves note for all the subjects in pre-degree. For physics, maths, English, chemistry, about 60 notes. And if you look at Shegun's note, all the notes, the 5 subjects, Shegun did not write up to half of that 60 leaves. And one thing is this, in that class, Shegun happened to be the youngest. He was 15. But I now called him one day, said, you are 15, you had luck. We were approaching 19, 20 then. He said, if we should tell you our story, it was Wale. Somebody now called me that, see, Shegun will come to class. Kileko. Ecology. Okay. Otilo SCG. He will write that ecology. I discovered that Shegun will now collect people's notes. He will not sleep till morning. When we were getting results, I scored 331 out of 500. Shegun had 396. No, 396. Okay. No, Shegun had 409 out of 500. And since then, I came to a realization that everybody must understand his or her nature. If you know that you cannot cope with a night class, utilize the day very well. If you know that you can lie on your bed and be reading like me, utilize it very well. If you know that your calculation will flow when there is noise, utilize it very well. If you know that your calculation will flow when there is no noise at all, utilize it very well. So I want to say this, that God has wired us differently. Let's look deep within ourselves and look at what best fits our situation. And I pray that God will help us in Jesus' name.
Can we put our hands together for him?
I want to add to that briefly. There's something called circadian rhythm. It's your sleep and wake cycle. Your brain needs, as adults, your brain needs at least like 7 to like 9 hours of sleep. 9 is stretch. When I sleep for 9 hours, my research tells me that it's too much for my age. I should be active. So there's a balance to life. God has put a balance to it. Like he's saying, know yourself. Some of us, we are active at night. 11 p.m., that's when I have energy. 7 a.m., I'm grumbling out of bed. If I don't have children, I don't have any business waking up at 7. That is me. Some of you, one of my children, by 5:30, is out. I don't want to move near their room. If I don't want him to be awake. Once you move, he will wake up. That is him. So for me in university, I can do every other thing. In fact, I can come back from class by 6 and sleep, eat and sleep. I'll wake up by 10:30. By that 10:30, gbogbo Anglo-most, we call it Anglo-most. Boys coming to your hostel and everything, ó ti lọ. Gbogbo 6, gbogbo wọn fi attend ọkùnrin tó fi ń rí rẹ́rìn, I'm sleeping or I'm cooking. So by 10:30, the room is quiet. All of them, they are tired, they are sleeping. That's when I wake up to read my book. And then my brain is justifying me, but yes, Joke, you are reading when others are sleeping. You are paying, you are burning the candle. Yes. So there is a reading for you. Check yourself. Are you more active in the early mornings? Wake up by 4:30. Have your bath. Sit down on a table and chair. If that is what works for you, don't lie down on the bed in the early morning. These days, to make you sleep back. So watch how does your brain function, but you need to sleep. You don't need to do Nescafe. I've never tasted Nescafe in my life. I've never tasted anything caffeine in my life. When I did my master's, Oyinbo people will tell you, you have to drink caffeine. I was on 4.0. I didn't have any B. I had A all through. I was just getting scholarship. In fact, when we came back, they still sent me email that I had one scholarship. I have to come and I said, I gave you like $300 every month. You know, there's benefit in putting the effort. A lot of benefits, seriously. But you need to put the effort. Study yourself. You need to sleep. Sleep is good. God made your brain that you should rest. Your brain cannot continue to wire. There's wire. Neurons are always wiring when you're active. Your brain is not made for continued wiring. You will misbehave. So balance your sleep. If you need sleep, sleep. But if you need to sleep, sleep very well. Take at least 5 hours of sleep. and then you'll be able to manage your time. But what is taking your time is not sleep. Is Instagram, is social media, is your friend that you will not see in the next 5 years. We were about 70 in my class. I can only talk about 5 people that we are still in contact. So you don't need all of those things. It's managing your time. Today is not the day for time management.
Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma. Okay, please, you have any question, just signify. All right, if there's no any question, I want to just add something to it. Is that personally, this is how I do my own. For all of my notes, if I'm entering a new semester, I always have an aspired CGPA. So for all of my notes, you see it on top of the notes that this is what I want to make out of this semester. And personally, you cannot see me write 3 point something. You cannot see me write 4 point something. You see, even if there's 6.0, I will write it there. And if I write it like that, it always comes to my consciousness that I must not fail what I write. I must not fail what I write. And I tell you the truth. The truth is, I put in all effort required, both with God and with man. Because the thing is, we have been saying all of these things. It is now the practical aspect. When you get to have a goal for your... If it's funny how you meet a Christian and say, what do you want to finish with? Some does not even think about first class at all. You want to say something?
No, I want to ask a question from profs. I have seen here in this church, we had some students that were active, very active in church, very active in fellowship, but they were failures. Professor Babarinde, you were active in BSF. And my sister too. Very active in the fellowship and very active in the church. And you were still able to come out best in your different careers. How did you balance it? Because I've seen a student that I accommodated in my house throughout her studies. And there is no program that she won't attend. In fact, she knows the program that will come up in the next 3 months. And she'll be calling people. Check back the program by if it's okay. But eventually she had an extra year. And throughout the 5 years, she was on scholarship. Yes. She was staying with me. But that final year, I said no. Since you're having an extra year, you have to pay by yourself. Because if you have somebody, we picked the interest because she was about dropping out in 100 level. And we discussed with my wife. I discussed with my wife. And we took up that responsibility. Even though eventually it was another person that was interested in her case that said, throughout her studies, I'll pay her school fees. And we told her, God has answered your prayer. Somebody has decided to pay your school fees. And somebody also get her and was about every weekend she will be in my house. Very hardworking. In fact, she cleans all the house, clean. But Monday, prayer meeting. Tuesday, I'm not saying those things are bad. But I discovered that those things they have occupied her time and that she doesn't have time to read. Eventually, she had an extra year. And that extra year was not a course, not 2 courses, not 3 courses. So how do you balance it? Because I know we may still have some students that are in that category here. Yes, you love God. Yes, we also love God. But we have seen an example of excellence while still serving God, not a failure. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now, the Bible says, not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. Now, let me just mention like 4 issues that can be of help. I studied agronomy at the first degree level, 1990 set, pioneer set of Lautech. Now, perhaps if I've studied another course, that will have affected my level of the commitment in the fellowship. I will not expect that somebody who is studying medicine to be going from one unit to the other to the 3rd unit in the fellowship and 3 units in the church, and the fellow says he's studying medicine, knowing fully well the schedules of in-course tests and exams. So the first thing will be to understand your course of study and know the peculiarity of those courses. Number 2, then, the bulk of lecturers that took us came from Ife. And being pioneer set, we didn't even have access to any past questions because we didn't have any seniors. So some of us now went to Ife to go and look for past questions, and we were looking for those people that had that past questions, and we discovered that the first time we did that one, some of the questions they brought for us were past questions from Ife. Now, number 3, what informed your choice of the level of your spiritual involvement? Why should I be in drama and be in choir and be in Sunday school? Is it because my friend is there? Now, some of you made your choice of what to do in the church, in the fellowship, because you just wanted to belong. And the people you are looking at as your mentor for the mentality of I want to belong have their own strategies. We have mentioned several things. They understood themselves. You have not actually understood yourself, and you just want to be like them. Number 4 was then, while we were in school, we had a target. I asked some of my friends, one of them is a Reverend Doctor today. We were together in the same level in the Baptist church. We have other one that is also in another place. Now, my target personally was every semester I will try to get a GPA that was better than the first one. And that happened till my last year. Except after we wrote the 500 level exam, and they came back and they said, you can't graduate because you have not written comprehensive exam. So our 400 level exam was written after 500 level. So they now sent us back while we were thinking that we are true. Now, what I mean is, you've got to have a target of, if I cannot make a first class, I want to make sure that every semester my GPA is better than the previous one. That will be of help to you. Then, we have reading mates, like I mentioned, the Reverend Doctor and another friend. But we will not only read, we were also prayer partners. So there is no way you can have success if you are not prayerful. It doesn't have to do with your background. Some people will say, well, it's because I'm coming from a battle-thrown family. That is why I have problems. No. Success by itself is even spiritual. And so if success is spiritual, then you have to handle it spiritually. You have to be very prayerful in addition to your commitment to the work of God when you are putting in the physical obligations of reading. I've asked questions sometimes. If somebody is taking a Bible study, an academic seminar, and the emphasis is you must not sleep for more than 6 hours in a day, if that is the only emphasis, what happens to somebody who is sleeping for 4 hours and we read and will not be able to assimilate? What happens to someone who reads and assimilated and we get to the exam hall and the invigilator will say, you have 3 hours for this exam, start! And at the last release of the examiner or invigilator's instruction, everything that the fellow assimilated just disappeared. Will not sleeping for more than 6 hours cure that problem? I have a sister that did an exam from computer science in electrical electronics. The fellow came to me and said, they released this result and I had 27. And I want you to intervene. And I said, but you have a brother in engineering. Let him attend to that. He said, brother, it's you that I want to handle this case. My mom may not take me serious. And as God will help us, I went to a Christian brother in that department, electrical electronics here in Lautech. And I said, I'm interested in this case. This sister belongs to me in the fellowship, and she scored 27F. Can you help us to cross-check? And he said, I will check. By the time they checked, the sister got 72A. And he said, the sister didn't fail the course. She didn't score 27. She scored 72. Bro, what can you do for us? He said, I will do a photocopy of that page. I will stamp it, and I will now send it to the department. And I will talk to a lecturer. The fellow graduated from computer science and engineering under FET then. The fellow is a lecturer today in one of the private universities in Ogun State. Now what happened? When it was the day of somebody will be dictating the hard copy result, and that fellow will be keying it. So when the fellow dictated 72, the fellow that was keying it in entered 27. But people of God, suppose it was 74 and they recorded 47. The only thing the sister might have said would, I want lecturer in Yahweh, sir. 47 did not have meaning because he, and that would have been the end. And so that is one of the reasons why, in addition to whatever you do, you need to be prayerful. Come jẹ́ pé jọ́ tí lecturer bá máa mark iṣẹ́ ọjọ́ yẹn ní báyàwó ẹja tó kàn fagilé anything. Come jẹ́ pé jọ́ yẹn ló lọ sí party tó feel disappointed pé ọmọge tó ń gbé jáde ọmọ yẹn corporate tó kàn fagilé gbogbo script yẹn. So you need to be prayerful. So I pray God will help us. Sorry.
So, it's okay. I just want, he has said virtually everything, but I want to lay emphasis on overactivity. Now, there are some people that are hyperactive. I don't know whether the pastor Mrs. will help us with that. You know, some children, when they are at home, they can't sit down. Like my son was telling me that, mommy, in my school, these people are medical students. They have good GP, and they are also the president. He's here. I said, please don't copy anybody. Sincerely, we have some people that are extraordinarily good. So when they are in class like this, they don't have issues. When they are, so they can do everything. But some people are not that wise. They are weak. That's why in BSF then, if we work, they will choose, select ESCO based on your CGPA. If you don't have certain CGPA, you can't become ESCO. Things are changing. And then we don't count it as offense. Because it's a taboo for president to fail. But the president just fail to our class, fellowship. He doesn't speak well as Christians. So some of us, what I do, I have them in my church too. One student always failing 1 point. I said, choir master Ewa, this, how many times do you go to choir rehearsal? I said 3 times. I say, Eba Muku choir. She can't cope. Many of us, we need to, that has been said, we should not overflog it. Understand yourself. You can't be everywhere. Even Christ is not proud of you. How can you be failing? And you are the one leading Bible study. What are you teaching us? It's true. Your life is not matching with the scriptures. Daniel had an excellent spirit. So I think at this stage, we need to help our students in our church, especially we that are advisors. If you see any student that is not doing well and is in choir, I look at it, I say, choir takes time. I don't know. Choirists, they are really trying, choristers. Even, choir, they have praise team. Praise team still have another time for rehearsals. So you need to just watch the unit. Me, I was just in prayer unit, because I was still functioning at home. Association. I was still functioning, they chose me as choice committee. So you need to, and I knew it. I'm not a nocturnal person. I can't read in the night. I will sleep off. So library was my friend then. So that was why we said you need to understand. Please understand yourself. And like I have one that we are handling now in NUD. That lady is having issue. Also this spiritual problem. But I discovered she's weak. Because virtually all her results, she isn't doing well. But when we advise her, she will not listen. She's from one fellowship to another. Please. So please, let's try to look inward. And when they cancel us, I know we are matured. Please listen. Remember that passage that we read. a man of understanding will also seek counsels, wise counsels. So please, if you're having issues like that, what you need to do is don't pretend. Can I pretend for? It's a matter of time. Like she said, there are some people that we are graduating together, you not see again. So make best, don't be ashamed. Tell prof, engineer, please help me. I'm having issue. Eba me suffer your control community tutorial. So that will help. So many times, or what man do, like Yoruba people say, you don't hide it. So please always speak out. Many times we are not always proud to tell others about our CGPA. Do you know the reason? It's because it's not good to voice out. But if it were to be 4.5, God will help us.
Thank you. Please, can we celebrate mommy? Can we celebrate daddy? Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma. Please, don't compare yourself with any other person. Know yourself. Please don't. I know the reason why I'm saying don't compare yourself. Something like that has happened before. During my PGD days, somebody met me and said, I don't think you can pass, because I was always in fellowship. But when I come back from fellowship, sometimes when I come back late, around that 8 o'clock or 10. So I sleep from that time, I sleep to 12. When I sleep from 12, so from 12 to 5 in the morning, I'm up reading. So when we eventually had the first test that we have in the school, everybody was out to look for what I was scoring in the hostel. But they didn't know that I'm always reading. So they were out looking for what I would score. Eventually, at the very end of it, when they released the result for our test, I was even in the class because they pasted our result somewhere. So they were looking for my result. Fortunately, the whole score was 150 and I had 147 out of the whole something. So when they came, they were like, how did I do it? I said, you already said I would fail, but come, let's do reading together. So please don't compare yourself. You don't know what other persons are doing secretly. Someone like, you can see me all the day moving up and down. If it's at night, there's no way. Even if I get home today, I will still read. That's it. If it's 1 hour to the end of the day, I will still read. So I can come into class tomorrow and then they say there's tests. I will laugh. I will tell you that I've not read. That's like everybody will say I've not read. And then when I have tests, something happened, that was on Wednesday. We had tests. Everybody was saying, how do we go about this test? I've read at home. I said, personally, I was saying, how do we go about the test? And it was Google this thing that we use for the test. The test was over 40, and I had 40 over 40. So I read. I personally read. If it is reading, I read to some extent. So just don't copy somebody. Because somebody said that, whoa, I'm a folklore Beni. Please don't do that. Please, in a brief, we'll be watching a testimony from... All right. Mommy...
What gave me one student, I think when the lady came to my department, Ajala, every semester, one thing that is consistent with this lady, she will bring us a result. I said, Mommy, many times she will come, she will not meet me. She will still come and say, this is my result. From 100 level, I was monitoring her. And to the glory of God, she graduated with first class. Needs first class, right from 100 level. She's one of the students I'm so proud of. Every time I say, this thing could be the drop. So many of you, please look for someone that you'll be accountable to. God will help us. So round of applause for Ajala. We are looking for many other first class from this church.
All right. Thank you, Mommy.
Let me say this about BC. BC can snap pictures from 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. In fact, it got to a point that Professor Sholale, Mrs. called her, BC, I'm a poor way, Bawa Dioge. We know that you are brilliant, but all these beauty contesting, please reduce it. But we are proud, we are all proud of her. She graduated as the overall best student in her class and with a first class.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Please, in a short while, is a testimony. It's an interview with Dr. Shogo. Please pay attentive. Thank you, media.